If you're hearing the sound of my voice, that means you are tuned into another episode of the Mark My Word Show, the show where I say what I mean and I mean what I say. My name is Marcus Lamar and I am your host. And on today's show, I will be discussing the NFL, the NBA. I'm going to get into a little bit of music. But before I get started, before I start with Monday Night Football, the game between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs, I want to start letting you all know how my weekend went. First things first, for any first-time listeners and returning listeners, I appreciate your support. For those of you who are listening to this via an audio experience, thank you, thank you, thank you. For those of you who are watching this, whether it be on YouTube or Patreon, I appreciate you as well. I know this is a holiday week, so many of you probably have plans to spend with your family and friends. I'm wishing everybody that is traveling this week, whether you celebrate the holiday or not, safe travels. I hope you guys eat amazingly. I hope you enjoy some football and, most importantly, time off from work. So I wanted to get the show started by saying that. Happy holidays to all of you who celebrate Thanksgiving. Now that I got that out of the way, I went to the mall this past weekend. Disclaimer, I'm not really a holiday guy. So I said all that just to say I'm not a holiday guy. But disclaimer, I'm not really a holiday guy. So I went to the mall this past weekend, and they've already started, obviously, their Christmas decorations. It was Christmas decor all over the place. Now, I'm not really a big Christmas guy, but I get it. A lot of people are into Christmas. It is what it is. So as I'm looking around the mall, I won't say which mall it was. As I'm looking around the mall, it's trees, it's lights all over the place. It's little badass kids running around, little badass adults running around. It was chaotic. I was like, I got to get out of here. It was way too many people. It was overcrowded because everyone's trying to do last minute shopping ahead of Black Friday or in anticipation of Black Friday. I said, I need to get out of here. The reason I went to the mall is because I was looking for a North Face jacket because I need a winter coat since I'm flying back to the East Coast. I couldn't find a North Face jacket in Macy's, aka Macy's. That's what I call Macy's. I call Macy's Macy's. So I go to the lady. I say, hey, do you guys have North Face jackets? She says, no, I'm sorry, we don't. You might want to try Nordstrom. So I'm thinking, okay, cool, bet. I see a Nordstrom in here. I should be good money. Nordstrom is a high-end premier retail store. At least that's how I perceive it to be. So I go to Nordstrom, or what I thought was Nordstrom. I end up in Nordstrom Rack. Now, here's where the story gets good. As I'm walking into the store, I said, something about this store doesn't quite scream or give Nordstrom. But I said, the sign above it says Nordstrom. It said Nordstrom Rack, but I'm thinking, okay, maybe this is a kissing cousin of Nordstrom, whatever the case may be. So I go into the store against my better judgment, and boy, was my intuition right. That store was a mess. And this is not to rag on Nordstrom. This is also not free promo or publicity for them, but that store was a mess. I couldn't find shit in that store. I was looking for a North Face jacket. I asked the lady, I said, hey, where are your winter coats? She said to me with a straight face, they're mixed in between everything. You're just going to have to basically look for it on the floor. I said, well, I'm looking, ma'am, and I don't see anything. She said, well, this is Nordstrom Rack, not Nordstrom. Nordstrom has the higher end, the more premier merchandise. This store doesn't. And I looked at her with a straight face and said, I know, I can tell. Looking around in here, this store gives very much clearance vibes. Now, there's nothing wrong with clearance sale items, so I don't want you all out there listening to think that I'm pretentious or that I have an issue with shopping on the clearance rack. But when you're looking for a good winter coat and you can't, A, find it because it's not in the store, but 2, the store is a mess, I said, okay, this is my second cue to get out of this mall. So I left. I left with no jacket. I'm still in the market for a winter coat, so if any of you listening have any recommendations or suggestions, feel free to drop those in the comment section. I know what coat I want. I want a Canada Goose coat. This, you can say, is free promo and publicity. The Canada Goose jacket is amazing. The one I want costs $1,200, and I'm hell-bent on getting it. I was this close to pulling the trigger on buying it on Monday until someone talked me off that ledge and say, hey, you are no longer a full-time East Coast resident. You are only probably going to wear that jacket 3 to 4 times a year, if we're being honest. That's only when you go back to the East Coast during the winter and fall season. But I still want the jacket. So, Canada Goose, if you all out there are listening and you need someone to either model or sponsor the jacket, feel free to reach out to me at markmywordshow@gmail.com. I want to shift gears to football. There was a game played in Kansas City and what many people believe is probably going to be a Super Bowl rematch. Now, I'll be the first to admit, I have never been more anxious for a Monday Night Football game all season. Super Bowl 57, I believe it was, rematch between the Philadelphia Chiefs and between the Philadelphia Eagles, and the Kansas City Chiefs. And while the game was a low-scoring affair, it did not disappoint in terms of late-game theatrics and drama. The Eagles were trailing by 10 points in the game at one point. They were down 17-7 to Patrick Mahomes at Gayha Field Stadium, which is a very tough place to play if you've ever been there. And not only did they overcome the deficit, but they ended up winning the football game. Now, the Eagles improved to 9-1 on the season, while the Kansas City Chiefs fell to 7-3 on the season. But the storyline of the night is Patrick Mahomes needs more help. As I watched that game and I saw Patrick Mahomes' receivers drop one pass after the other. Don't get me started on Marquise Valdes-Scantling, who basically dropped the touchdown that would have put the Chiefs ahead. That's not to say that they would have won the game, but had Marquez Valdes-Scantling reeled in that pass from Patrick Mahomes, which was a beauty, he put the ball where only MVS could go get it. He dropped it. That was a prevailing theme of the night. Travis Kelce had some critical drops. Other receivers on the team had some critical drops. And we knew this heading into the season. The Chiefs' wide receiver core is not good. They don't have anybody that puts any fear in anybody's heart. Not a single person. Sky Moore, no. Marquise Valdes-Scantling, no. Kadarius Toney, no. The only person that gives a defense legitimate reason to be afraid of them is Travis Kelce. And if you double and or triple team Travis Kelce, you're basically saying, I don't trust the other receivers on the Kansas City Chiefs offense to beat my defensive backs one-on-one. The Chiefs only managed to score 17 points. Their offense has been stuttering and has been a mess all season. It's been a mess all season. Now, you all remember when Wes Welker dropped that pass in the Super Bowl, which I still haven't forgiven him for. Gisele Bündchen basically came out and said, my husband at the time, because her and Tom Brady were married still then, my husband cannot throw and catch the ball. He can only do one. He can only do one. Patrick Mahomes is a quarterback. He can't throw the ball to his receivers and catch it for them. So if they're not going to catch the ball and do their job, then the Kansas City Chiefs are in trouble. Now, I know a lot of people are going to applaud and laud Patrick Mahomes because he's not going to throw his receivers under the bus. I'm not with none of that. If someone's not doing their job or not living up to expectations, it is okay to call them out. I'm not saying you have to do it in a demeaning or degrading way. You can have some tact and taste about how you go about that. But to act as if it's not a thing is disingenuous to me. The Kansas City Chiefs do not look like they're going to repeat as Super Bowl champions or even make it to the Super Bowl because of their ineptitude on offense. And this is not something you would expect when you have a top 5 quarterback, a top 5 tight end, and a top 5 coach in the league who's an offensive mastermind. Now, I expect them to get it together. Obviously, they're still going to be a force and a factor in the playoffs. But this roster, as currently constructed, is not beating the Baltimore Ravens at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland, if they meet in the AFC Championship game. I don't see it. I know you can never bet against 15 and Patrick Mahomes. He's proven time and time again that if his back is against the wall, he can deliver. He can make he can make lemons out of lemonade, whatever the case may be. Patrick Mahomes is the most clutch player in the NFL. So I'm not sitting here writing his or the Chiefs' obituary. However, we have to accept what we're seeing. Reality is reality. They are a very flawed football team. Now, on one hand, you might be saying, well, the Ravens are flawed too because they're winning a lot of games, but I don't think they're necessarily winning because of Lamar Jackson. They're winning with Lamar Jackson, and they just suffered a devastating injury to Mark Andrews, their all-pro tight end. So the odds of them going to the Super Bowl, I wouldn't say took a drastic hit, but Mark Andrews is a big part of what they do offensively. He's a security blanket and a trustworthy option for Lamar Jackson. And I'm still not sold on Lamar Jackson as a passer. I know this sounds like I'm beating a dead horse or I sound like a broken record. I'm just telling you all how I feel. I watched the Ravens football games, and that defense is hellacious. It's eerily reminiscent of the defense they had when they won the Super Bowl in 2000. Not quite on the same level, but in terms of how they get to the quarterback, the amount of sacks they have this season, how they turn the ball over, and how at home, you might as well pack it up. Outside of that debacle against the Cleveland Browns, Baltimore is a tough out at home. I expect them to be a tough out if the road to the Super Bowl 58, which will be in Las Vegas, has to go through M&T Bank Stadium. I'm looking around at the AFC. I understand what the Miami Dolphins and Tua Tagovailoa and Tyreek Hill, who I'll talk about later in this show, represent. But I'm on record saying if the Miami Dolphins have to go to Arrowhead Stadium or Gayha Field, whatever the name of the stadium is called nowadays, if they have to go to Kansas City to play a playoff game or travel to Baltimore, which is looking like they will have to do one or both of those things, they're not winning that football game. Miami is a finesse team, and what we've seen this year is that they beat up on bad football teams. They have yet to be a team that is exceptionally coached or that is a legitimate Super Bowl contender. They got smoked by the Eagles, okay? They got smoked by Buffalo, and we don't even know if Buffalo is good. So I still have my questions, qualms, reservations, concerns, and fears about the Miami Dolphins. I think they're a finesse team. That's not to say that they're not capable of putting up points and scoring points, but you all know the reason people say you have to have an ability to run the football and play hard-nosed defense is because things change come playoff time. And that Hard Rock Cafe Stadium that they play in, the confines of where it's 70 degrees or the humidity and temperature is affecting the other team's players, you're not going to have that benefit or luxury come January. You're not going to have that. I think Patrick Mahomes has only lost one playoff game at home in his entire football career, and that was to arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady. And speaking of Tom Brady had some really interesting comments. He had some really interesting comments on the NFL. Really interesting comments on the NFL. So Tom Brady made an appearance on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Shout out to Stephen A. A lot of love and respect for what he's doing with his podcast on YouTube. And Tom Brady, when he appeared on the show, Stephen A. asked him, like, what's the biggest difference you see between now and when you're playing? I'm paraphrasing, so don't quote me word for word. But Tom basically said he is not feeling the level of play or the quality of play in the current NFL. Now, we all know the NFL stands for not for long, and that the quality of play with the advent of fantasy football and sports betting has changed. A lot of people are a little bit more skeptical and cynical of sports leagues now that you can win money or now that there's a lot of money being wagered on these games. And it brings into question the credibility, the authenticity, the legitimacy of the refs, a.k.a. the zebras. I can't tell you how many times I'm watching a football game and it's a pivotal 3rd and 15. The defense will make what you think is a stop, and the next thing you know, you see laundry on the field. There's a yellow flag being thrown. The officials have way too much influence in the decisions of these games sometimes, which leads people to think that these games are being rigged or scripted or orchestrated. Now, I'm not here with the tinfoil hat. People will have their theories, and fans typically only say that when their team loses or when their parlays don't hit. But if you just pay attention to some of these finishes, like, for instance, the Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions, like, what the hell happened? If you're Chicago, how do you blow a 12-point lead in less than 6 minutes? I'm still in disbelief. I don't know how it happened. I don't. A 12-point lead in 6 minutes? I mean, come on now. The Detroit Lions are a really, really good football team. They're exceptionally coached. Shout out to Dan Campbell. Jared Goff had an awful day. He was miserable. He had more turnovers in the bakery. Apple turnover, peach turnover, cream turnover. He had more turnovers in the bakery. But somehow they still found a way to win, which is what good teams do. Good teams find a way to win or find ways to win. Bad teams find ways to lose. The Chicago Bears are not a good team. But if you just sit back and look at the quality of play in the NFL, not just from all the players, but specifically the quarterback position, there's a lot of bad football being played week in and week out. Don't get me started on Zach Wilson, who's benched for seems like the gazillionth time. I want the New York Jets to give up on Zach Wilson. It is over. The kid needs to change his scenery, or he needs to be relegated to a backup status in the National Football League. He's not good. It is what it is. Stop holding out hope. At least with this current regime in this situation. You've got everything you could out of Zach Wilson. It's over. Tim Boyle obviously is not the answer long term. But I mean, come on. Come on. The quarterback play that we see is bad. And I don't know if it's getting any better. And what bothers me and other NFL fans, I'm assuming, let me not speak for them. Let me just speak for myself. What bothers me is that we all say the rules are geared towards the offense. And yet and still, it seems like you have quarterbacks coming out of college, or rookie quarterbacks, or second-year quarterbacks, or third-year quarterbacks that are still struggling to move the ball up and down the field, even with the rules skewed or slanted towards their advantage. That just doesn't make sense to me. Kirk Cousins, I joke with him all the time, is a completion percentage king. There is no reason in today's modern NFL why a quarterback should not be completing over 60% of their passes. There's just no reason. No reason. Now, here's my theory. Going back to Tom Brady, here's my theory. I don't think the NFL loves the fact that their golden child, or once golden child, okay, 7-time Super Bowl champion, 3-time MVP, 5-time Super Bowl MVP. My theory is I don't think the NFL like or loves Tom Brady saying that basically the product is shit. And if I were them, I wouldn't like it either, especially after we've done everything we could to ensure that your career went the way it went. Now, again, I'm not getting into conspiracy land. I'm just saying it was very clear from early, once Tom and Belichick and the Patriots started ripping off Super Bowls, that he was the anointed one. He was the prodigal son, even if you suspected or felt that Peyton Manning was a little bit better than him. And then once he started accumulating more Super Bowls, he was out of there. Forget about it. He was out of there. But if I'm the NFL and I'm trying to grow my business, which even though the quality of the product has been diluted, it's clear that the product is not what it once was. T-shirts, record sales, jerseys, fan attendance, all of those numbers I'm sure are up across the board. So it's hard to argue with someone when it's like, well, revenue is coming in at record pace or record numbers. But for those people who are football purists, if we're watching the sport and being honest with ourselves, there's a lot of bad football being played week in, week out. So I agree with Tom Brady. I just don't think the NFL likes that he's the person who's jumping out there on that ledge in his post-retirement career saying these things. If it was some nondescript quarterback or somebody with not as much stature or not as many accolades as Tom Brady, or who wasn't as protected by the league as Tom Brady was, then I would get it. I think the NFL would be able to swallow that pill a little bit easier. But because it's like, Tom, terrific, we protected you damn near your entire career. And this is the ledge you're choosing to hop out on. And it's not the first time he said it. So this is not breaking news. But the fact that he keeps religiously saying it, to me, is a problem. To me, is a problem. If I'm the NFL, I agree with Tom Brady 100%. But if I'm the NFL, I would be looking at Tom like, come on now. Just because you feel something doesn't mean you have to say it, right? I'm learning that in podcasting and life and relationships, friendships. Does it need to be said? Does it need to be said by me? Does it need to be said right now? 3 good rules for people out there listening to kind of live by. But it was interesting, man. It was interesting. I don't know what can be done to improve the NFL. I don't know if kids need to stay in college longer. But if you have an opportunity to change your life circumstances or walk around on campus and still have to go to 8 a.m. class, most people are going to want to go professional as opposed to staying on a college campus. Even with the advent of the NIL deal, I know that has changed the game. And some kids are like, I'd rather just stay in college and get more money. But come on now. Being a college kid and being in the adult world are 2 different things. And I know there's this saying, college is the best 4 years of your life. If the best 4 years of your life happen between 18 and 22, then you've lived a shitty life. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest. When I was in college, yes, I had fun. There was no real responsibility, but I had no money. And as you get older, you realize if you want to be able to do stuff in life, you need money. Plus, I'm not trying to whip out a syllabus every August and September. I don't want to go to class. I thank God every night that I don't have to even look at homework. When I hear the word homework, whether I'm talking to a friend or listening to people, do homework with their kids, I cringe. The word homework makes me cringe. I've paid my debt to society. You couldn't pay me to sit in the classroom right now. Okay, I'm lying. You could. But it would take an exorbitant amount of money to get me to sit in the classroom and just sit there and focus and be told, okay, this is what we are going over, class. You got papers and essays due, and you got to worry about plagiarizing. No. I've done my time. It's one of the reasons why I think I haven't had kids yet. I'm not trying to help nobody with no homework, even the little kids. And they be teaching new math methods and shit that we didn't grow up on. Ain't nobody got time for that. I don't have time for that right now in my life. I'm 30. No. Don't talk to me about homework. Block it out. Block it out. I want to, keeping things on the NFL, this take might surprise some of you. It shouldn't really be a surprise, to be honest. I don't think it should be a surprise. So the NFL MVP award, we obviously know is biased. We know the award's biased. So quarterbacks are naturally going to get considered for the award. And the only other position that's won the MVP award, as far as I know, and I could be wrong, so I might stand corrected, is the running back position. But here's what I'm going to argue for. There are a lot of quarterbacks that are having really nice seasons. Shout out to Russell Wilson, by the way, because I came on this show weeks ago and said that the marriage between Russell Wilson and Sean Payton needs to end effectively. I think it was when they got off to an 0-3 start, or maybe they were 1-3, but they had lost 3 straight games, and things just weren't seeming to add up or click. But they're back to 500. Shout out to the Broncos. Russell Wilson, his numbers look good, and he's playing better. So shout out to Russell Wilson and the Broncos. But no quarterback to me this season has been uberly dominant. Like, I don't see anybody lighting it up where it's like they're running away with the MVP award and it's head and shoulders clear cut. This person should be the MVP award. But there is one person in the National Football League who I think should be the MVP, and it's not a quarterback. That man's name is Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, a.k.a. Cheetah, a.k.a. fastest man in the National Football League. Tyreek Hill is him. He is him. I've been singing his praises for years. Now, I still think Devontae Adams, pound for pound, with the right quarterback, is the best receiver in the National Football League. That's no disrespect to Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase or Tyreek Hill or A.J. Brown. But I believe that Tyreek Hill is a game changer. His ability to make something out of nothing is uncanny. We've never seen it. And the reason I like Tyreek Hill so much is because if you remember when he first came into the NFL, the knock on him was, well, maybe he's just a gadget guy. Maybe he's just a return guy. Maybe he's best suited on special teams, kick returns, punt returns. He quickly dispersed that narrative, quickly dispersed it. Then the knock was, let's see what Tyreek Hill does away from Patrick Mahomes and playing with Travis Kelce and playing under and in Andy Reid's system. And then that narrative was quickly dispelled. Tyreek Hill is the reason why Tua Tagovailoa is looked at the way he is currently. Yes, Mike McDaniels is a brilliant play caller and is proven to be a great scheme guy, but you can have all the intricate schemes in the world you want. If you don't have the horses to run the plays you want, it means nothing. Mike McDaniel can sit in his office at the Dolphin Stadium and craft and design all of the plays he wants to. But he knows that when he implements something into their playbook, his job is made a lot easier because he has Tyreek Hill, who is an anomaly. We have never seen speed like this at the wide receiver position. Tyreek Hill is no taller than 5'9", 5'10", maybe. But he's strong. He's exceptionally fast and quick. There was a play this weekend against the Raiders where it looked like 4 people had a chance to make a tackle on Tyreek Hill, and it resulted in a touchdown. How, Sway, how? He's remarkable. He's leading the league in receiving yards. He's leading the league in receiving yards per game. He's leading the league in touchdowns for receivers. He's second in reception, so I think Keenan Allen. Tyreek Hill, at this stage in the season, is the MVP. And I don't even think it's close. I don't think it's close. Now, me having followed the National Football League for as long as I have, I know that Tyreek Hill is not going to win the award. The award is biased, and they want to give the award to quarterbacks. So here's my suggestion to the NFL. You all need to create a separate award from the MVP award since everybody seems to struggle with what the word valuable means and is. My idea to the NFL is to create an award called the Most Outstanding Player of the Year award. That factors in everybody, running backs, cornerbacks, defensive backs, D linemen, offensive linemen, and that award should go to people like Tyreek Hill, who is clearly having the best season, I would say, for an individual player, but won't win the MVP award because he doesn't have the words QB next to his title. It's unfortunate to me because the Miami Dolphins are not where they are if it wasn't for Tyreek Hill. Jalen Waddle is really good. Mike McDaniels is a brilliant play caller. Tua Tagovailoa has taken strides as a passer and a thrower. Y'all know I don't like left-handed quarterbacks, but it is what it is. But the reason I'll give Mike McDaniels credit is because when you look at Tyreek Hill, 9 times out of 10, when he's catching the ball, there's nobody around him. That's scheme. But it's also helped because his speed puts so much pressure and fear on opposing defenses, you don't know what to do with him. He can run any route in the route tree, and he can take it to the end zone for 6 at any point in time on the field. It doesn't matter if you think you have him stopped. Everybody has to rally to the ball when Tyreek Hill, a.k.a. Cheetah, gets the ball in his hands. He's that dynamic, that special, that electric. So Tyreek Hill is my MVP award winner. He's not going to win it right now, and I know we still have a lot of season left. But the NFL needs to create another award, a separate award called the Most Outstanding Player of the Year award, and that should go to the individual player who has the best statistical season. Because that word value seems to trip people up, and by default, quarterbacks are inevitably more valuable to their franchises because they touch the ball and they're involved in the outcome of the game way more than a wide receiver or cornerback or defensive back is. Wide receivers, their position is obviously dependent. But I even hate that argument because what position isn't dependent? Aaron Donald is a beast one-on-one. Myles Garrett is a beast one-on-one. TJ Watt is a beast one-on-one. But a part of the reason they're able to do what they do is because they are getting either pushes from the other side or because of scheme. Like, yes, you have to have the talent, but the same way Tyreek Hill is dependent on Tua Tagovailoa making throws, Tua Tagovailoa's numbers and success is dependent on Tyreek Hill getting open and making something happen after he's caught the ball. A quarterback could throw a pass for 3 yards. A receiver could take it for 97 yards, and the quarterback will get credit for all of those yards after the catch. That's how it works in the NFL. That's how it works. But shout out to Tyreek Hill, man. That brother is special. Special. I hope you all are still listening out there. If you do have Thanksgiving plans, I want to go back to Thanksgiving really quickly. If you do have Thanksgiving plans, I do have a few suggestions for those of you who plan to indulge in some food and family time this Thursday. If you show up empty-handed to anyone's house, you don't get to go in the kitchen and ask, is the food ready? You sit down, shut up. When the food is ready, we will let you know. And furthermore, you have a cap on how many plates you can take with you. That's number one. Number two, for those of you who don't want to be inundated with dishes or don't like washing dishes like myself, you need to invest in the good paper plates. When I say good paper plates, I'm talking about the ones that have the sections and the dividers so that your foods are not touching, you nasty heathens. If you think touching foods is acceptable, or if that's something that you're into, you are disgusting. You are no different than the people who walk barefoot in public gyms. Now, I know some of you are going to say, well, Marcus, the food is all going to the same place. And I hate that argument. I hate that argument. It's going to the same place, but in my body, it's arriving at different times. I don't want yam juice on the turkey. I don't want mac and cheese juice in the yams. That is disgusting. It is flagrant. And furthermore, if I had enough balls to do it, whether it was a family member or a friend, if I saw it happening at my house, I would slap the person's plate out of their hand. But because I don't want to start anything, I'm not going to. I always love Thanksgiving or just Christmas dinners because you get a chance to, commune with your family, people you probably haven't seen all year or don't see with as much regularity. But everyone's got one family member where it's like, okay, we can't leave you unattended for too long, or we know and we can trust you to bring up some shit that's going to have everybody at the table like, what are you talking about? Now, this year is going to be interesting because if you all have been following the news cycle last week, right? the overwhelming news cycle was dominated by allegations made against Diddy by Cassie. Now, that lawsuit has since been settled. I've only been living on this earth for 30 years. I don't know if I've ever seen a settlement reached as quickly as the one last week between Diddy and Cassie. I'm not saying it hasn't happened. I'm just saying in my lifetime, I can't recall an instance where that was the case. But that was less than 24 hours. Now, I don't have all the details, but I find it interesting, the narrative around that entire situation and ordeal. I found it very, very, very interesting. You see, nowadays, we live in a gotcha culture in society. People are waiting on people to either be outed for being pieces of shit so they can say, aha, I knew it all along. I got you. We got you. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm all for people being outed if you are a piece of shit or if you treat people poorly, or you foster toxic work environments where people are being harmed physically, emotionally, sexually, mentally, spiritually, whatever the case may be. Whatever the case may be. But for those of you who are clamoring for people to go on their platforms and bash Diddy, you're not going to get that from the mainstream media. You're just not. And the reality is, me having worked at a mainstream media outlet, is that when people have certain relationships with people, especially celebrities, you are going to massage that relationship differently or treat it differently than you would with somebody who you don't have any affiliation with, any ties with, or any connection to at all. It sounds disgusting to say, but it is a reality. It's a reality. And the reason I bring that up is because a lot of times, and most times in my eyes, when people say, oh, I want you to speak up on something, or I want you to speak about something, they're saying that because they have a certain view on something and they want to hear you regurgitate it word for word. But the minute you don't say what they want you to say, then it's an issue, or they want you canceled. And that to me is disingenuous. If you're going to ask somebody to speak on anything, you best be prepared for them to say something that is contrary to what you feel. Now, again, I don't have all the details, but I will say this. Whenever you hear someone say thoughts and prayers, that could mean a couple of things. It could be a legit, hey, thoughts and prayers to all parties involved, because this is a nasty news story and there was clearly somebody affected or someone alleging that they were affected. Or thoughts and prayers could be someone simply saying that because they don't want to comment on a particular story because it's either going to affect their bottom line or affect their relationships with other people. Now, how you interpret the person saying thoughts and prayers is up to you and it's on you. I don't know how you receive that. I'm just telling you, we do that a lot. Thoughts and prayers. Okay, thoughts and prayers. Are you saying it genuinely, or are you saying it because you really don't want to get into the minutia of what we really need to discuss? It's something to think about, man. It's something to think about. It is something to think about. Keeping things on sports, I want to talk about Angel Reese. Where the fuck is Angel Reese? We don't know where Angel Reese is. Now, before I get into this, I like Angel Reese. I do. I met her at the ESPYs in July. She seems like a very nice young woman. You can tell she's still adjusting to being famous, or with the increased level of visibility she's had since they won a national championship last year. And she was everywhere in the offseason. She was throwing out the pitch at the Baltimore Orioles. She was doing stuff with the Ravens. Like, she was everywhere, going crazy, running it up. But Angel Reese is not playing right now. And no one in America, except the people that are close to the situation, know why she's not playing. She's missed 2 straight games, And her coach, Kim Mulkey, when asked about it Monday night, refused to get into the specifics of what it is going on with Angel Reese. Now, look, the internet did internet shit. They started floating out a bunch of theories that basically Angel Reese had a low GPA. That's why she was benched. That's why she has not been seen on a playing court since then. Then there was another theory that her and Flo J, which is her teammate's mom, were beefing, and I don't know what to believe. But all I know is that Kim Mulkey, you are the person who has the power to shut all of this down. I'm not saying you got to go out there and throw her under the bus. The GPA shit I'm not buying, because if she had a low GPA, there's no way she's raising that in time enough before the season ends. Furthermore, when you are a premier athlete at a university, people are going to find ways for you to pass your classes. Wink, wink. Let's not act like we don't know what happens at these universities. Come on now. So I'm not buying that theory. I don't know what's going on with her. I really don't. But for Kim Mulkey to think that the media is not going to ask you about it, or for you to get snippy or snipey or snarky with the media when they ask you about it, it's like, come on, you know better. Tell us what's going on. Why is she not playing? Is there something wrong with her? I'm surprised they didn't cite the mental health thing, because, you know, everyone's favorite thing nowadays is mental health reasons. That's everyone's favorite thing. That's the new wake up now. And I know that sounds bad. I'm happy that people are prioritizing their mental health, and I've been advocating that for years now. Whether that be going to therapy, whether that be going to the gym more, whether that just be doing more things for yourself. But just like with anything, there are people that are going to try and monetize and capitalize off of a situation because they see dollar signs attached to it. So mental health has become the new flavor of the month, and it is the new wake up now for some people, not all. So don't hear this and think I'm discrediting people on their mental health journey or people who've taken the steps to focus on their mental health. I applaud you all. It's to be commended. But you all know good and damn well there's some people out there who have ulterior motives in mind. Now, I'm not sure if Angel Reese is being disciplined, if she was suspended. Kim Mulkey's not saying anything. But the longer Kim Mulkey stays quiet, the more we're going to speculate. And whether she says she cares or not about it, you might be not saying anything or mum's the word because you want to protect Angel Reese. But the more we speculate and the more she doesn't play, the speculation is only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. If she has been late to practices, and I'm not saying this is gospel, I'm not even speculating this. I'm just saying whatever the reason is for Angel Reese benching or for her not to be playing, come out and tell us what it is. Because it just doesn't make sense for you to have benched one of your star players and for your star player to not have played 2 consecutive games if and she's healthy. It just doesn't make sense. Now, I did a quick surface level glance, and this is lazy of me to do. I think they're only 6 games into the season, but Angel Reese's numbers in some categories are down from last year. So is it possible Kim Mulkey and people in the media or fans think Angel Reese might be feeling herself? I don't know. We don't know. We're just sitting here playing a guessing game. We're sitting here playing a guessing game. But something's not adding up. One of your best players gets benched, and now she misses 2 consecutive games, and you feel like you don't got to go to the podium and answer questions? And we're going to be anything, let's be for real. Let's be for real. So Coach Kim Mulkey, if she doesn't suit up by the time this episode drops or after Thanksgiving, you got to have some explaining to do. And you can be dismissive with the media all you want to, but if I was a journalist, I would ask you that question every time I saw you, because you're not about to play with us. What is her status? Why are you hiding her status? If it's something that's personal or personally affecting her, come out and say that. It's not the end of the world. But you're not going to sit there and pretend like we're dumb or that we need to mind our business because we are asking you why your star player is not playing. It doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. That doesn't make sense. Shout out to Angel Reese, man. Whatever you're going through, if you're going through anything, I'm not assuming you're going through anything. If you're going through anything, then I hope, you get it resolved. I hope the team gets it resolved and you guys continue to do what you do as the reigning champs. I want to see y'all at y'all best in the event somebody's able to knock y'all off. I don't want any built-in excuses like, well, Angel Reese didn't play or she was suspended or, she had to step away from the team for whatever. No, if y'all are going to lose and not win a championship for a second consecutive year, I want y'all to be at y'all best. And y'all are obviously better with Angel Reese than without Angel Reese. Or maybe y'all are better without her. I don't know. But I doubt it. Keeping things on basketball. How much time we got left? We have 15 minutes left? 17 minutes left. We have 17 minutes left. But keeping things on basketball, this is one of those stories where people just have to admit, we got it wrong. Including myself. I could not believe that the Golden State Warriors chose to move forward with Draymond Green over Jordan Poole. It didn't make sense to me, especially considering that Klay Thompson, who was a cornerstone member of their franchise, is basically, I wouldn't say a washed version of himself, but he's a reduced version of himself. Not to mention, Jordan Poole is considerably younger than Draymond Green. He's a much better scorer than Draymond Green. But as I watched Jordan Poole in Washington, D.C. with the Wizards this year, you start to see why the Golden State Warriors decided, we don't want nothing to do with this guy. Now, Jordan Poole won a championship with Golden State. He disappeared in the finals for the most part, but during those playoffs, he had moments where he turned up. Jordan Poole is a great scorer. Let me not say that. Jordan Poole can score the basketball. That is his bread and butter. He's not a facilitator. He's not a great defender. He's not a rebounder. Okay? And he's not a leader. But Jordan Poole has gotten to the Washington Wizards and is showing his ass. He's showing his ass. Not only is he only averaging, I think, 13 points. Somewhere around 13 or 14 points. But the viral clips of him shooting threes, doing the look away like Steph, but missing them, being dismissive and aloof and standoffish in team huddles. I mean, look, that Ice Spice dinner, Jordan Poole came out and said is cap. He said, I didn't pay $500,000 to go to dinner with Ice Spice. Cool. I'll give you that. But whatever woman or whoever zapped your powers from you, you need to get them shits back ASAP. If you did spend $500,000 on a dinner with Ice Spice, you need to get a refund and you need to go get your powers back from the Monstars. Because the way you're playing right now stinks. We had high expectations for you in Washington, D.C. individually because we knew the team was poop. We knew the Wizards were not going anywhere. But we figured, okay, it's either going to be you or Kyle Kuzma that's going to take over this team. And right now it appears to be Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma's averaging somewhere around 23 points per game and has less noise and headache around him than Jordan Poole. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I see why Draymond Green punched Jordan Poole in the face because we see how Draymond gives it up. Draymond Green, and I didn't get a chance to talk to y'all about this last week because I didn't do a podcast, but Draymond Green should have been suspended 10 games. He should have been suspended 10 games. 5, okay, I get it. 5 was fine, but you cannot put a person in a chokehold on an NBA court on national television. I don't understand why this is a hard concept for people to grasp. What are you doing? If I walk down the street right now and I put a citizen in a chokehold because they did something or said something to piss me off, I would be in handcuffs. So Draymond Green is lucky his ass wasn't arrested. And I like Draymond Green. Shout out to his podcast. I listened to it. One of my favorite players in the NBA. But his behavior at times is unhinged. I love that he protected Klay Thompson. I love that he protects his teammates. But for you to put Rudy Gobert in a chokehold, but that wasn't even why I was really mad. I was more so mad because if somebody puts me in a chokehold, I'm doing everything in my power to slap them. I don't know what the hell Rudy Gobert gave up. Rudy Gobert is the softest player in the NBA. He has to be. He has to be. And I'm not saying soft in terms of, Rudy Gobert cannot fight or won't fight. I'm only 5'7". Rudy Gobert is 7 feet. But, bro, you got to put up a little bit more of a fight when someone has you in a chokehold. And then furthermore, once I get loose, it's up. It's up from that point. I don't care if the NBA suspends me. I'm getting my lick back. Draymond Green put him in a chokehold and was dragging him across the court like a rag doll. That's probably what he wanted to do to Jordan Poole last year, but didn't get an opportunity to because he dropped him. So I got to give the Warriors an apology. I thought they were out of their minds for investing in Draymond Green moving forward because I think Draymond's a liability as he's aging. But after watching what Jordan Poole is, I can't coach this. Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't be around it. Can't coach it. Can't win with it. Sorry, you just can't. Jordan Poole wants to jack up shots. I mean, the clown shit. He's shooting three-pointers and looking away and it's not going in. I mean, Jordan Poole, stop. You need to grow up, man. You got to grow up. I know you're a young kid. I'm not here to rag on you, but you got to grow up. You got the bag. You've got a chip, so maybe you feeling yourself and you feel like you've arrived. But the narrative around you is not good as the Wizards are reportedly looking to shop and trade you. You don't want to be known as a guy that bounces around the league from team to team because eventually somebody or multiple teams are going to say, we had enough of this guy. Enough of Jordan Poole. Enough of Jordan Poole. But Rudy Gobert better than me, man. He better than me. Draymond really put this man in a chokehold on national TV. Draymond has to chill. Like, he has to chill. He has way too many moments like this. Way too many. He WWE kicks a bonus in the playoffs last year. I mean, Draymond makes it really hard to defend. He's that uncle who you have to defend doing wild shit every Thanksgiving. I keep bringing up Thanksgiving because it's a Thanksgiving-themed episode. That's who Draymond Green is. He's that uncle where it's like, yo, you can't leave him unattended because he's either going to do or say some wild shit that you are going to have to explain, and it is a hassle at that point. It's a hassle. It is a hassle. For those of you listening, if you know where to find me or don't know where to find me, I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm available on all major streaming platforms, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcasts. I'm also available on Amazon Music Podcast. Shout out to Amazon Music. I'm available there as well. And Patreon. For those of you who like to watch content visually, I'm available on YouTube and Patreon. Patreon is a creator-based platform. So make sure y'all subscribe to the Mark My Word show on there as well. Before I get out of here, I want to talk about Drake because I felt a lot of you gave Drake a hard time for that album he did. So where do I want to start with Drake? I got to sit up because my back is hurting. Where do I want to start with Drake? When Drake released the album For All the Dogs, the internet was in an uproar. Now, if anyone knows me and you listen to this show, you know I'm an ardent, avid supporter of Drake. It's very rare or very seldom that Drake's going to put out any type of content musically that I'm not going to like, resonate, or love. Just being honest. That doesn't mean I'm a fanboy, but I like the music he makes. I've always liked his music from day one. Nothing's changed 15 years later. But y'all criticized the hell out of him for that For All the Dogs album. And I thought a lot of you exaggerated your critiques, or I'm not really sure what you all were looking for. Maybe you all still had some residual frustration because the album kept getting pushed back. But y'all were wrong about that. Y'all were wrong about that. But let's say I grant you that. Say you didn't like For All the Dogs, even though in my opinion, 23 songs on the album, for you to have 8 or 9 songs that I like, to include several smash hits, First Person Shooter is the best song of the year to me. In terms of rap, that is the best song of the year, best collab. They just released a video Drake and J. Cole did, best video of the year. They've been going crazy running it up. Now, if you're a rap purist, it's universally accepted that the big 3 in rap is Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick Lamar. Now, consciously, I put them in order because I do think Drake is the biggest artist. I do understand the argument that Cole might be a better lyricist than Drake, and you can never really forget about K. Dot, even though he comes and goes and comes and goes. But if I were to make a sports analogy, if Drake, J. Cole, and Kendrick Lamar are the big 3, at this moment in time, Kendrick Lamar is Chris Bosh. Now, what do I mean by that? Drake obviously is LeBron. J. Cole is D-Wade or Flash when D-Wade was really him. Like from 06 to 09 when D-Wade was Flash, that's who J. Cole is. Kendrick Lamar is Chris Bosh, which Chris Bosh was a really great player for the Toronto Raptors. Legend, Hall of Famer, all of that. But when those three linked up, Chris Bosh obviously took a backseat to D-Wade and to D-Wade and LeBron. Now, I'm not saying that to disrespect Kendrick Lamar. His last album in 2022, I liked. But the way Drake and J. Cole been moving has been crazy. Meek Mill and Rick Ross called themselves Shaq and Kobe. If anybody should be calling themselves the Shaq and Kobe of rap, it's Drake and J. Cole. That is the best duo in rap right now. From First Person Shooter, the song, to the video, to their new song, Evil Ways, which Drake just released on the deluxe edition of For All the Dogs album. They've been running it up, man. And I'm not sure if this is organic or if it's intentional to get Kendrick to either, respond or like kind of put pressure on him. But Kendrick, when are you going to make music? When are you going to make music? We know what you can do lyrically. But out of sight, out of mind is a real thing. And the more we see Drake and J. Cole, now they announced they're going on a tour together. Drake brought him out of the show. J. Cole brought him out of his show. They've got 2 collabs in 6 weeks. And the best music video of the year, in my opinion. The best rap collab of the year, in my opinion. J. Cole had the best verse of the year on First Person Shooter, in my opinion. I'm trying to figure out when Kendrick Lamar, a.k.a. Chris Bosh, in this dynamic of the big three, is going to step up and reassert himself on the scene. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because right now, the way them two is cooking, it's almost like they're treating Kendrick like a stepchild or like a distant cousin, like a cousin twice removed or eight times removed. And we know Kendrick, we know what he's capable of. We know what his pen represents. But I mean, come on now. Come on now. Drake was supposed to be taking a break, and I like Drake, but he's full of shit. He said he was going to be taking a break for health reasons. That's not the case. Released a 6-pack of heat. A 6-pack of heat. Now, I listen to all of the songs, and all of them, to me, are slaps. Drake was back in his rapping bag. And that's why I really don't understand the criticism for All the Dogs. I really don't get it, because if you listen to that album had a little bit of something for everybody. He did a collab with Bad Bunny. That's for the Latino demographic. He did a hit song with Sexy Red. That's for the ratchet, okay, I want to turn up and shake ass demographic. On 8 a.m. in Charlotte, the timestamp song, that boy was rapping. That was for the rap purists, okay? First Person Shooter Mode with him and J. Cole. They were rapping. That's for the rap purists. Drake had a little bit of everything on that album for everyone. So I didn't understand the outrage or the criticisms towards it. Like, I don't know what people were expecting, but in my opinion, Drake delivered as he always does. And then just in case y'all thought like he still wasn't him, it's like, okay, here's a 6-pack of new songs. Sit on this for a while. And I'm about to go on tour with J. Cole and run it up. Now what? Because I hear y'all talking about me and y'all playing on my name, and I'm not with it. I'm not with it. Y'all forget who I am and who I be. Drake is the only artist that has been dominating and running shit for the better part of a decade. No breaks, no gaps, no interruptions, no hiatuses, no sabbaticals. That's not to take shots at any other artist. That's not to throw shade at any other artist. I'm giving you facts. It was one of the reasons why I championed him when he said he was taking a break, because he was experiencing health problems. Only for him to reverse course and say, nah, I'm going back on tour with J. Cole. We hot right now. We got a pulse on rap. We got a pulse on hip hop. We about to run it up. So all the markets that I didn't hit the first go round with the For All the Dogs tour, all the markets that I didn't hit now for his last tour, I'm about to go to new markets right now. And I got new music. Shout out to Drake, man. When you're talking consistency and longevity, y'all know who the best is. Stop playing. Y'all know who the best is. Before I leave you guys, I want the NFL to stop doing this. It was brought to my attention on Twitter The NFL keeps doing this. So every time there's a player who goes down with an injury and they have to be carted off the field or have to be stretchered off of the field or have to leave the field in an ambulance, if the Buffalo Bills are playing, the camera pans to Damar Hamlin. And I'm not going to sit here and revisit what happened to Damar Hamlin because at this point, unless you've been living under a rock, you know what happened to him. But whoever is doing that, whoever's in the control room, whoever is in the truck, whoever is quarterbacking the decision to pan the camera to Damar Hamlin every time that happens, you are a nasty individual. Nasty individual. We don't need to see Damar Hamlin every time there's a visual of a player either looking incapacitated or possibly having suffered a life-altering injury on a football field with an ambulance nearby. Have you all have no class? I mean, this is basic decency. And I'm not someone to hop on my high horse where it's just like, okay, come on now. I'm not overreacting, but there's just no need for it. No need for it. Not the biggest deal in the world. Just no need for it. It's just tacky. It's tasteless. A lot of people don't like it. Don't really see a need for it or purpose for it. Like, what point are you trying to prove? We know what happened to Damar Hamlin. I'm just trying to figure out if Damar Hamlin, I think he has played this season. I'm just trying to figure out what the Buffalo Bills are doing with Damar Hamlin. But that's another story for another day. That is a story for another day. This Saturday, after Thanksgiving, obviously we got 3 games on Thanksgiving. I believe the Lions are playing the Packers, the 49ers are playing the Seahawks, and the Cowboys are playing the Commanders, I believe. I expect all of the teams favored to win those games. So 49ers, Cowboys, and the Lions, I expect all of them to win. So I'm not really looking forward to the NFL Thanksgiving games. But for those WWE fans out there, Randy Orton is making his return this Saturday at Survivor Series War Games. I can't tell you the last time I seen Randy Orton in a wrestling ring. It'll be good to see the Viper in a wrestling ring. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to that. But with that being said, I feel like the WWE kind of tipped their hand because if he's coming back, you now expect his team to win. Whereas if he was not coming back or it wasn't announced, you kind of like, okay, which team is going to win? Is it going to be Judgment Day with Drew McIntyre recently adding him? Or is it going to be Jey Uso and the good guys with Sami Zayn and Cody Rhodes? So it'll be interesting. I'm going to tune into it. I definitely will be watching. I hope all of you enjoy your weekend. For those of you traveling, like I said, get to wherever you're going safely. Airports are probably going to be a disaster, so make sure you get there early. You don't want to miss your flight. You don't want to have your flight, rescheduled or anything like that. For those of you who are doing community service, I commend you and I applaud you. We need more people like you in the world. I did see something that was funny. It's not funny, but it does make sense. But why y'all be giving frozen turkeys to homeless people? I don't know. Maybe it's the thought that counts, but it does not make sense because where are they going to cook these things? But nevertheless, your heart's in the right place. I hope everybody has a joyous holiday. If you reached this part of the show, that means you made it to the end of the episode. I want to thank everybody for inviting me into their life, making me a part of your day, your week, your month. For any returning listeners and first-time listeners, your support is appreciated. I continue to thank you guys because you don't have to tune into this. You really don't, but you choose to, and that means a lot to me. For those of you who repost and share my content, I appreciate you all as well. I hope this show provided you all with some new and interesting perspectives and much needed relief from whatever you may be going through in your life. You'll be hearing from me again soon. In the meantime, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Mark My Word Show with Marcus Lamar. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Till next time, mark my words.